So at the Chili Bowl, they I tell you, I enjoy the heck out of the Chili Bowl. I mean, that's some exciting racing, Bert. Kyle Larson, back-to-back Chili Bowl wins. You know, he started out his impressive 2020 campaign winning the Chili Bowl. He did it again in 2021. Christopher Bell, Bert, kind of looked like he might have been the guy to beat. He was all over him with just a handful of laps to go. He hooked the cushion, cartwheeled hard. He's okay, which is good, but that was really the only challenge Kyle Larson had. He led all 55 laps. What did you take away from what you saw or what you read about from the Chili Bowl?
I mean, I've watched probably the last four. Usually I just watch the features, but probably the last 4 years I've watched it. And it seemed like the cushion was larger this year than any of the previous years that I watched. And, I mean, and, you know, we've talked on this show before about you live by the cushion, you die by the cushion. And I mean, Christopher, like you said, Christopher Bell, I mean, he was, it would have been fun the last couple of laps to see if he could have gotten by Larson. But yeah, I mean, he hooked that cushion and it sent him for a wild ride. I mean, I was hoping he'd be all right, and he was okay. He walked out, and actually before the race, they interviewed Christopher Bell, and he made the comment that this was the most water that they put on the track that he can remember since he's been racing there. So I think that definitely contributed to the cushion.
Well, last year's feature, Bert, was 55 laps of one lane on the bottom. And I'll take 10 out of 10 times, I'll take one lane on the top over one lane on the bottom 10 out of 10 times. I mean, because if it's one lane on the bottom, you're just go-karting around the bottom, and it's just stupid. It's not even entertaining. At least on the top, they're banging the cushion. They can chuck sliders. They can do different things. And the water, right? Water does wonders for racetracks. I heard the rumor. Does really good. And let's talk about before the race, okay? Because I'm going to jump right down here, to some of my takeaways. So the whole week, the race was aired on Flow Race, right? And then for the C's, the B's, and the A, they transitioned over, and I think was it live? It was live, right, on MAV TV.
Yes. Yes.
So I was so disappointed and pissed off. I was just ready to lose my mind because I watched it on our Facebook page. They got the commentators, and they're talking back and forth. They got driver introductions going on over here, right? And their commentators are even saying, "Oh man, they're still doing drivers intros. They're unique, great drivers intros they're doing. The crowd's really enjoying it." I'm like, I'm gonna drive down there and stab you. What are you talking about? Like, quit, just shut up and focus on that. I want to see that, right? All the people watching it, I saw so many things on Facebook. It's like, tell these idiots to shut up. We want to watch the drivers intros. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. That's whoever the production people are for MAV TV should be fired after that deal, because that was ridiculous. I mean, that was the most idiotic thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm still mad about it.
That's the way they've done it all the years that they've televised it live. They don't show the driver. And see, I think part of that is where that NASCAR mentality comes from. They feel like they have to, that, the announcers are part of the show and whatnot. And they're not. I mean, show the TV audience what it's like to actually be there.
I'm going to give you 2 examples, okay? And number one, this one's been going on a little bit longer. Personally, I could go to the USA. I talked about this last week. Yeah, I could go to the USA Nationals. I could simply watch the drivers' introductions, and I could leave, and I'd be perfectly content, right? Because it is exciting. Gateway Dirt Nationals. The drivers' introductions at the Gateway Dirt Nationals, that's half the show. This is imagine watching WWE wrestling, right? And imagine that they like cut the whole part of it with the entrance for the wrestlers coming down. Just cut that completely out of it, and they just cut and they have them talking and they show wrestling in the ring. People be like, "What the hell is this?" Because for me, and I don't watch much of it anymore, but I did for a long time. WWE wrestling, the entrance music, and you think about the Undertaker and Triple H and the way that they entered, right? The crowd got jacked and people on TV. That's part of the program. The same thing with the drivers' intros for the Chili Bowl. I didn't get to see it, but from what I understand, there's some pretty entertaining stuff that happened. As a viewer, that is important. They had, I mean, God, it took take hour and a half between the B main and the A. I mean, they dicked around forever. We could have listened to them guys talk, and nothing against them, whatever. They can talk, that's fun too. But they gotta show that. So somebody's got to talk to MAV TV or whoever's in charge and just say, look, this like nobody wants to watch these two people talk back and forth. Sorry, okay? If there's something more exciting going on, show that, and then we can go back to these guys after that. And that was, to me, it was extremely disappointing. I didn't realize that's how they've been doing it for a long time. And if they've been doing it that way for a long time, that's a fail on their part. They just don't they just don't understand the entertainment value of the sport. I don't get it.
Well, they don't understand what race fans want to see.
Right. Oh yeah, that's more corporate nonsense right there. You're exactly right. Now enough of that. The flip count. Okay, the record for the flip count 2019 was 75. And this is kind of a fun stat. If you watch a Chili Bowl, let's be honest. I mean, we don't want to see people get hurt. For sure, we don't want to see that. But I don't care who you are. If you say that, I don't like seeing them things roll, you're lying. Okay, you're lying. Because that's exciting. People watch the Chili Bowl for the rollovers, and they had 69 of them. 69, 25 of the 69 came on Saturday. So they were pretty good most of the way through, single digits a few of the nights, and 69 flips. Now, Bert, a couple things that I saw there. Did you see Nick Hoffman? Okay. Now, again, mod guy, right? And he's going to be a guy to beat down at Volusia for Speed Weeks in that modified. He's got a little chip on his shoulder. He lost a couple drivers over to that Longhorn deal, but he builds an elite chassis, and it was his first ever time at the Chili Bowl. Did you see that, Bert?
I just saw a picture. I'm going to let you explain it because you know the mechanics of it better than I do. So
this was crazy. So in the B main, I don't remember what night it was. In the B main, his throttle linkage broke. Well, in those cars, you can reach down. You can actually reach the throttle linkage, okay? But the throttle, and it's a 1/4-inch bolt, and there's a rod, 1/4-inch Heims on it. Something broke there in the throttle linkage. Well, I don't know how many laps were left, but I'm going to say this, is he had the steering wheel in one hand, and he was running the throttle with his hand on the other one. So the gas pedal was gone. It was operating the throttle, and he still ended up 5th place in the B main. Who in the right mind would do that? Normally you'd be like, yeah, I'm out. Yeah, I'll just pull off, live to play another day. And he's like, nope, we'll just do this deal here. Absolutely insane. So kind of a neat little thing that I saw that, and I'm like, good grief, man. It's hard to wheel them things as it is. You're banging the cushion and sliding around, and you're doing it one-handed.
And on that track, I mean, it seems like you're constantly turning. So
yeah, it's a bull ring.
It's not like a half mile where you can just like you're on a Sunday drive.
Exactly. Now another thing here. So the alphabet soup, and I really like that. I don't like when a track, if you have a lot of cars, I've seen a lot of places they've kind of gone to 4 B mains, right? And I get why they do it. If you have 18 classes of cars, you kind of can't do the alphabet soup, right? But if you have 1 or 2 classes, you can. Well, at the Chili Bowl, they have the alphabet soup, right? And what they do is they have, X amount of cars in the B, C, D, E, and so on. And Jason McDougall, Bert, this was impressive. He went on the I main, and he won the I. He transferred into the H. He went from the H and transferred into the G. He transferred from the G into the F. He transferred from the F into the E, right? So people are like, man, this guy's coming. Is he going to make the show? It's like the big story of the whole first half of the day on Saturday. He gets to the D main. He's in the final transfer spot. Last lap, he gets dumped. And they got the no-fault caution rule. Night's over. But he was going to make it into the C main from that point, but he ended up getting spun out. But that was kind of the whole excitement, I guess, if you could say that, over the first half of the show was kind of following to see if he was going to transition up there. That was a pretty cool deal.
And I mean, what makes that impressive, for those that are unfamiliar with how the alphabet soup works, I mean, if you transfer from one, you don't, start in the front of the next one. You have to start in the back. So,
right.
So to keep transferring from race to race, you have to race from the back to the front. And that's why it's so impressive.
Yeah, and the last time, and it wasn't all the way back to but Jimmy Owens was down at Volusia, and they used to do an alphabet soup deal in the modified deal, and I don't remember if it was a D. I think it was a D to the C or no, it was a C to the B, from the B to the A, and he was up leading and broke. And so, I mean, he kind of did. I don't know if it was a D main or not, but they had the alphabet deal there, and it just makes it more exciting. I've seen tracks do that. It's kind of a cool deal, but that was fun to watch. And now, if you're a sprint car fan, everybody's heard of slamming Sammy Swindell. And on Thursday night, Bert, this was great. So Daniel Robinson said, Sammy Swindell's like one of my heroes. He just loved the guy. On the last lap of the qualifying A, he moved him. Robinson just moved him out of the way, punted him, got by him, and then he did one of these deals and flipped him the bird as he was driving away. And people are like, what did Sammy do to him? Was he mad at him? He goes, no, I just did it just cause, he wasn't even mad at him. He's just like, he goes, how often do you get to pass Sammy Swindell? I guess the crowd went nuts. They were all cheering because Sammy's he's one of them polarizing guys, right? Where back when he was wide open and he was winning races, half the people loved him, half the people hated him. He's kind of had that personality where he wasn't always the most personable guy at the racetrack, right? Very serious. So there was a lot of people there that got a pretty good rise out of that deal, just more entertainment value. So I thought that was pretty cool. So Bert.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, you're speaking about how Sammy can be polarizing. He was involved in an incident Saturday in one of the races, and the announcers made a comment, have fun trying to get an interview from him or something like that.
Yeah, nobody's going to accuse him of being the most personable guy at the racetrack. That's just not going to happen. One of the best to ever strap into a sprint car, I can tell you that much. I mean, the guy's won
right, exactly.
Races, but yeah, not now. Bloomquist has never been, I would say the super outgoing. But I think do you think he maybe gained a few fans when he did that raffle deal, and then the way he interacted with that kid? And I mean, people saw kind of a different side of Scott Bloomquist, so maybe Sammy's got some hope. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bloomquist probably gained some fans. But one thing about Bloomquist is, I don't know if he's necessarily polarizing because of his demeanor. He's kind of polarizing just because he's very confident. And when he does win, he lets people know that he won and why he won.
and he looks like the Undertaker. I mean, he's got that look to him. It's like the voodoo child. I mean, he's got that look. So, but the Chili Bowl under wraps, it was entertaining for the most part. I thought the racing was pretty darn good. I just love watching them slide job after slide job and dicing and slicing. I mean, they're pretty fun to watch, and I'll tune into that next year. Hopefully Mav gets the crap together and lets us see the drivers' intros. Race fans, if you're listening to that and you agree, just blow up Mav's email and Facebook and do whatever you got to do and let them know that, hey, next year we want to see the drivers' intros. And maybe if they get enough feedback on that, maybe we can see that next year. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the Chili Bowl is televised next year now with this Mav TV app and stuff. So who knows if it'll even be on Mav TV,
or if there will be a Mav TV.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I guess time will tell.